Hello, good afternoon. So regarding your question, I think it's a very important one. And I mean, Trump really has changed the equation when it comes to U.S.-Japan relations. Prior, I think Japan could always count on solid support from the United States. The United States never really used its leverage to seek economic concessions by showing, using the security card. This is something that Trump actually may do. At the cost of actually weakening, well, first of all, changing Japanese perceptions of the United States as being a reliable and trusted friend, but also in the sense that it could actually weaken the U.S.-Japan alliance, which I think would benefit China in this case. So yes, Trump's mentality, his understanding of the geo-strategic realities remains to be seen. He hasn't really posited a clear doctrine towards Asia. What does America want to do in Asia? It's clear that he wants to meet Kim Jong-un, wrap up a deal there, and he's already wrapped up the deal with Korea with the new revised FTA. It seems to be it's more bilateral. He doesn't see Asia as one. He doesn't see the democracies as being one. It's rather, what kind of concessions can you give me? And I think it's because of Trump, not just because he's unconventional as a political leader, but also because his support base is pretty much 40%. It's averages as 40%. It has never exceeded above 50, which means that he's really a president that's supported by a small minority of Americans, and this is a base that he cannot afford to lose, and therefore his foreign policy is always connected to his political base, and hence TPP, the Paris Accords, whatnot. It all has to lead to some kind of gains, jobs. So it's like the ancient Roman emperors always said, bread and circus. I think it's the same thing. The bread in the 21st century happens to be jobs in Trump's mind, and perhaps the circus are his tweets, which is, again, very unconventional for a president to fire his senior staff through tweets or, announce policies through his tweets. And so in this sense, yes, there is uncertainty. And I think the Japanese leadership really senses that. And therefore, you see this in the mannerism of Abe. The past history that U.S.-Japan have built up together no longer means anything. It's more personal diplomacy. It's Abe trying to make Trump happy and become friends. But it remains to be seen if this personal approach is enough to sustain this bilateral relationship. Fortunately, despite what happened in the United States, democratic institutions remain very, very strong. There will be elections in 2020. And I'm a firm believer that America is a resilient power. We'll come back. We'll play a decisive and important leadership role in the world, and we'll again be the strongest proponent for freedom and other values that we hold so dear. So things may get really rough, especially on the peninsula, but I think in the end, with American leadership, American presence returning to Asia, I think that we can have high hopes in the midterm. So in the short term, things will be kind of dicey. Beyond that, I personally would like to see, I paint a very optimistic, well, I shouldn't say very optimistic, a guarded optimism of what will be in store. So there are so many variables right now. One is the Iran deal, which we don't know what will happen. If that's scrapped, oh man, that's going to be kind of crazy. Also, you have the Kim Jong-un Trump summit talks. And will those happen? If it happens, will there be any concrete concessions? And so this year we'll have lots in store. For Japan, will Abe get his third term that he so desires? And will Japan be able to revise its constitution, which I think this has a very, very important meaning for Asia as a whole, because Japan will finally be a normal power in which Japan can flex its muscles not just for its own security, but for the security and stability of the region.